last week. Xavier Worthy, a big topic, big name for us. Big thing everyone's been talking about is comparisons. And JD had a whole monologue, beautiful monologue on Monday about comparisons and comparing guys to Tyreek Hill and those types of guys. But having similar skill sets and guys who try to emulate somebody else, that's a different story altogether. And Xavier Worthy and Andy Reid spoke about the person. Xavier Worthy says he looks up to DeSean Jackson, and then Andy Reid said that he reminds him of DeSean Jackson. And play a clip right here.
Listen, they're different, and he'll put his own mark on things. Once he gets a feel for it. That wasn't necessarily the comparison as much as it was him being a good football player that was a good wide receiver. I mean, now you add in there the return ability. I've had some guys like that, Tyreek and DeSean Jackson, probably body typed a little bit more like DeSean. Yeah.
If I was to compare myself to anybody, I modeled my game after DeSean Jackson. So I feel like that was really like my go-to, like whatever I needed, like to look at film or anything, I'll look at him. He's a really smart football player. I feel like people don't give him credit for that. Just him understanding leverage and just what he does with the ball in his hands. I feel like I kind of took that into my game, and I feel like just with the ball in my hands, I feel like I'm dangerous from anywhere on the field.
JD, obviously DeSean Jackson, he's not Tyreek Hill by any means, but this guy had a long career, and he's still trying out for teams now. I mean, every year in the middle of the year, people are still calling him to come there because he still has that elite speed. Yeah. But JD, we talked about going into last year, how impactful will Rashee Rice be? Because rookies have a hard time in this Andy Reid offense, but Rashee Rice dominated last year. And we talked about DeSean Jackson's skill set. DeSean Jackson, in his rookie year, as you see the stats below, 62 catches, 912 yards, 2 touchdowns, 440 yards, punt return yards, and 1 return touchdown. Also, he had 1 rushing touchdown as a rookie as well. So if that's the way Andy sees him as DeSean Jackson type of guy,
yeah.
How impactful of a rookie season do you think Xavier Worthy could have? Or do you think it's going to be more one of those, it's a rookie guy in the offense, it's a tough playbook? I mean, how do you actually see this happening for Xavier Worthy this year?
Xavier Worthy, just based off his at the interview, I think he's going to have a big impact because it seems like he understands football. It seems like he wants to get better in his football IQ, and he's been watching film of DeSean Jackson. I think he's going to have a great year. I do. He can do at least 62 catches, 912 yards, 2 touchdowns, 440 punt return yards. 1 return for a touchdown. I know kickoff return and stuff like that. He'll probably be the guy back there. But I could see him at least can definitely emulate this without a doubt, right? So Xavier Worthy, man, to me, coming from a similar offense down in Texas too, he ran a whole lot of wide receiver screens, slants, deep routes. I mean, he's got a full bag in him. I think, with Hollywood Brown, he's going to be the number one. Xavier Worthy is going to be, when I'm telling you, a pleasant surprise for what he can do. All the naysayers are going to be coming on board, all Xavier Worthy. We didn't know he was going to do this. And people want to downplay because he runs fast and he's like all the fast other receivers. That's not going to be the case with him. So here's a guy who's fast like DeSean Jackson, and you see what he got. Xavier Worthy can do at least this. I don't have any question about it whatsoever, man. I think he's going to be a superb wide receiver for us. I don't have any questions whatsoever about Xavier. So I think Andy sees the comparison, like you said, just knowing that they're a good football player. Obviously, they are different, 2 different guys, right? But he sees the ability. He sees the ability. So they're going to utilize it as much as possible. Trust me. Xavier Worthy is going to have one hell of a rookie season for the Chiefs. So
I believe they said his Vegas has already set his over-under for receiving yards at 800 yards receiving.
I like it. I like it. I might have to take a little bit of that action. I don't bet a whole lot, but I might have to take some of that action right there now.
Oh, yeah.
Because, if it's going to be him and Hollywood Brown, shoot. Yeah, he's going to get a whole lot before Rashee gets there. And like we said, we're still up in the air. We don't know how this is going to look. So,
yeah, and that's the thing. It's like because Rashee's not going to be there. And that's where, like, because obviously, we looked at the rookie numbers over the years with last year when we talked about Rashee Rice's impact. We had the same probably topic last year. And it was like, oh, is he going to have a big impact in the offense? We don't know. Andy Reid's receivers, his playbook's very complex, and it's tough for receivers to kind of get a grasp on. And Rashee Rice was consistent as heck all throughout the season, and that's why he almost had 1,000 yards receiving last year. But that's the thing. He was like the only guy, right? We had KT, it's Sky, but he was the only guy throughout the entire season. Mm-hmm. And similarly, Xavier Worthy is going to be one. I mean, depending on what happens with the Rashee Rice situation, I'm assuming he's going to get some games, but there's mixed reports that I'm reading that we'll address in our next topic. But it's going to be him and Hollywood Brown, both guys who are still new to the offense, and it's like he's got as good a shot as any to get 1,000 yards receiving.
So this year we are better than we were last year in wide receiver. Okay, we're better. All right, without Rashee Rice. Okay, we got a legit number one in Hollywood Brown. Okay, and a legit number one draft pick in Xavier Worthy, who's the fastest guy right now, has the fastest time in ever in the NFL, running the 40. So we're better than we were last year. And so we're giving balls, which Andy didn't really, as complex as this offense is, once you grasp the concepts, once you grasp what you have to do, once you grasp the motion and getting all those things down and the terminology, it'll start flowing. Everything gets easier. I think Xavier Worthy, man, is a bright guy. I don't think he's going to have any problem whatsoever. Like I said, they're running similar offense too. So Andy didn't really give Rashee Rice difficult routes. Hey, here's a wide receiver screen. Hey, here's a hitch. Hey, here's a slant. And so what he did is he just gave him things that he could win at. We're going to do the same thing with Xavier Worthy. We're going to do the exact same thing with Xavier Worthy. So him having 62 catches, that's going to be easy for him. If we get the ball to him like we know we're going to be able to stretch the defense, because what you do is you set the defense up. You run a couple of wide receiver screens, now you give them a couple of double moves, now you go deep on them. Now you hit them over the head. So what that has done, it's opened up the door for the whole offense to just be wide open. And I'm telling you, his playbook is going to be on fire this year. Andy's and Nagy's, they're going to be on fire. They are. They're going to push the ball down the field. We didn't really have that ability last year to do that, to threaten the defense. Because sometimes we throw the ball up in the air, we didn't know if the guys were going to catch it or not. So a whole lot of it was all over the shoulder. Guys are getting lost in their route, trying to track the ball. No more of that. That's over with. Xavier Worthy don't have a problem with it. Hollywood Brown definitely doesn't have a problem with it. And so these guys are just better than what we had last year, okay? They ain't throwing shade, the MVS, they ain't throwing shade to them, but it's just the reality. It's reality of like the ability the guys have. So I love it, man. And I know we were looking for Rashee Rice to come back. Everybody's waiting for him to come back, but we're going to be fine with these two guys that we got. Burners, okay? Then we got KT to it. Then we got Travis and the whole bevy of good tight ends too. And we're going to be good. We're going to be good, man. Defenses are going to have to open up in their back pedal as soon as they get off the bus or the plane. They're going to open their back pedal immediately because we're coming. We're going to stretch them, man. We're stretching them. So,
and I think in a press conference, I think even before the clip that was played, he specifically mentioned the punt returning ability that Xavier Worthy possesses. And there's a clip that's been going around of Xavier Worthy's one of his beautiful punt returns that he had at Texas where he took it to the house. Mm-hmm. The fact that he mentioned that also stresses the fact that he's not only going to be utilized in the offense, he's going to have his hands on the ball as much as they can get him the ball. They're going to give it to him. He's not a kick return guy, but punt return, and then also in the offense. Yeah, I mean, I think DeSean Jackson on the draft night we were talking about the comparisons and stuff, and DJax stood out. I mean, and it really does. I mean, if you look at some of the DJax highlights, it's like, man, if Xavier Worthy can do that, I mean, sky's the limit for what this offense can be when Rice is back and we have the whole thing. And obviously, I think the offense is still going to be firing all cylinders with Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy alone and Kelsey. But then when you bring back Rashee Rice, that's going to be opening a whole can of worms, man.
So look at it and think about it, right? We already have Travis Kelce was the guy last year. Okay, Rashee Rice was the number 1 receiver, ended up being the number 1 receiver for us. And then it was questions everybody else after that. Well, we got Travis Kelce is back, okay, looking as good as ever. Like he looks 28, like Veach was saying. Hollywood Brown, who is a phenomenal wide receiver, number 1, and Xavier Worthy. So who catches the football well, runs great routes, does great double moves. And so like John Clifford said, he said, man, if KT, Ross, and Sky could step it up, we will be fine and deep. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. You look at just any wide receiver room in the league. You got 2 legitimate guys, you fine. And you got the best tight end in the NFL playing 2. You straight. Not to mention we got, a great running back. So our offense is good. We're going to be all right, man. I don't know. And I think that it is the question of, is KT and Sky Moore going to be fine? Are they going to be with the program? Are they going to be able to contribute something? And I think they will. I really do. I don't have no reason to doubt it. I know how this process works. I've seen guys. I said that Sky Moore might take a little bit longer than some people to develop. And I think year 3 is going to be where he's going to come out and actually show what he can actually do. Okay. Start giving him things that he's good at. Last year, I think we kind of put him in a spot because KT was a little hurt. We didn't quite know what everybody else was doing. Guys were dropping balls. People didn't look like it was on the same page. And then we try to force Guy Moore into positions that maybe wasn't his preferred position to be in. Let me put it that way, okay? But, yeah, and Mr. Brown started. 12 and 13 personnel might be more prevalent this year. No doubt about it. And so we got legitimate tight ends. Travis, Noah, Irv, right? Jared. So we got packages. We're not lacking in anything. We could just only get better. That's the way I look at it. We can only get better. So,
yeah, I agree. Do you think we'll because I when I was looking at DeSean Jackson's, he had a rushing touchdown, but it was probably like a jet motion kind of thing, obviously. But I mean, 16. I think he had like 16 carries, like 96 yards and a touchdown. Do you think we'll see a lot of those kind of jet motion sweeps with Xavier Worthy?
Sure, we better. That's what he did. That's what he did with Texas.
Yeah,
sucker running for 4-2. He'll be outside the defensive end before he knows it. No doubt about it. We ready to run the jet sweep and the reverses with Xavier Worthy. Like they said, you got to account for where he is on the field all the time. All the time. Because he's silky smooth. He can get around people. Hey, man, he's a weapon. He's a weapon. So, yeah, man, I think we're going to be good. Gary Holland asked a question. Jason Dunn, do you feel with these receivers on the field, it's going to help Kelce with 1,200 yards this year and 12 touchdowns? No doubt about it. Definitely, Gary. I think with these guys pushing the defense, stretching the defense, Travis is not going to be doubled and triple teamed like he was. So it'll open up the door for him to catch passes. 1,200 yards, sure, we'll see. Because I know we're going to throw the ball up to those fast guys. And so he'll have some touchdowns for sure. I don't know how many yards he'll have. Maybe this is like the moment where you might see some of the yards taper off from Travis. Because he may not have to be the do-it-all guy for us. So that's the good part, is where we don't have to always look for Travis to make the play and get open and wearing him out. We got some young talent, man, who can pick them up and put them down with the best of them. That will definitely open the door for him to still be Travis Kelce, what we've seen in the past.
JD, we got a question here from Kwame the Galleta, I think. I don't know how to pronounce that last thing. But does Justin Ross have a role to play this season? I think his services are needed for this offense, in my opinion. Yeah, that's preaching to the choir, man. You know, it's Ross season over here. Always.
Justin Ross is going to be in that whole cut category of I'm seeing of a Justin Watson, Justin Ross, Remigio, Anthony Miller, for those guys battling out to try to make the team. Okay. We love his ability. I love Justin Ross's ability. Our question's always been, are we going to utilize it? That's the question. Do we have a fit for him in this offense? That's what it boils down to. I think he has everything to his game. If he stays healthy, he's down there catching with Pat too. He's benefiting off of this as well. He may be one of those shocks and surprises, man, that, still makes the team. So I'm rooting for him, like I'm rooting for each and every one of these guys. Okay? It's all about competition, man. You outplay your guy that you're with, you show out what you're supposed to do, you'll have a spot here. They won't let that type of talent go. So I like Justin Ross. I do. But the thing is, they got to love him to keep him here, right? And they're like, okay, can you provide something that these other guys can't? Okay. Also, too, can you play special teams? He was going to be a special teams guy. Okay. And they know just sitting on the bench and waiting for you to get in. You better be special teams, run down on kickoff, punt. You a gunner. You better be able to make some tackles. That's what he's going to have to do. So he's going to have to go above and beyond what he's been given before. Yeah. Bottom line, especially if you on the cusp of making a team, you're going to have to be some other guy to make it. So I'm telling you, man, this is how the NFL, man, it's all about the talent that's out here. And they're not hurting for talent in the league. They're just not.
I mean, he does, like you said, I mean, we've talked about before, he does provide a skill set that's not in the room. Even with Rice being there, he just provides something different than everybody else. And there's that, and it's also doing other things that the special teams doing, just kind of getting involved all over the field to try to make yourself more valuable than just being a unique skill set.
Yeah, but if you're only running wide receiver screens and reverses and jet sweeps, what do you fit in? Right? What does the Justin Ross fit in? I think it's what I was crying about. Flash. This is why Flash can fit into our offense.
Yeah.
As much as he wanted strong hands, the timer was off, trying to get everything put together. I think that was just part of the problem. It was part of the problem because a big body in this offense can look a little clunky unless you're a tight end. So,
yeah. Now it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with that. At least we know the top half of the wide receiver room. Last year, the whole thing from top to bottom was like, well, I mean, what besides Rice, I mean, KT, and it was Rice and KT, but everything else is kind of a question mark. And then this year, it's top to bottom. I mean, the top, you got Rice, depending on what his deal is, Hollywood and Xavier Worthy are the locks. I mean, even KT, I know KT and Sky Moore are there. I still think they're. I mean, if these guys are getting outperformed by some young bucks, some hungry guys, I mean, who knows? I mean, KT and Sky Moore got their shot last year. They've gotten their shot. And if we see if Remigio, for example, as an example, if he's balling and he showed out at some points during last year, he could be, he could kind of leapfrog some guys. But I wouldn't be shocked outside the top two. I wouldn't be shocked at anything that goes on in that receiver room.
Hey man, they're gonna let it all play out. They are. Some guys have a longer leash than others, and so if they got money invested into you, and they think that you have somewhat of a skill set, they might say, "Hey, we might stick with the Sky Moore more than we will a Remigio, unless Remigio is just that much better than Sky Moore." And I didn't quite see it, and it's hard to see it when the guy's playing, third stringers and all of that when you get in, and you got like a small sample size. They didn't end up getting hurt, so those things are always the question. I'm the down. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate it, man, for the 10. All love right there. All love right there.
Appreciate the contribution, brother.
Man, we gonna look, and Hazy was talking about, man, we're gonna have a nice little schedule for us this year coming up. We're gonna have to be on our A game for sure. And I think we go in the front, the first game going in, we're pushing. We're going to put on display this fast offense, okay? This NASCAR offense, this Olympic 100, 200 offense is what we're putting on. The 4x1, this is what we're looking for. No doubt about it. So get your popcorn ready, all right? Yeah. We coming out swinging. We are coming out swinging.
I'm curious to see what a lot of people are saying. I think the betting line right now on who the opponent's going to be for the Chiefs Week 1 matchup. They said they're not going to utilize a Bengals or Ravens, any kind of matchup like that, because they'll save that for later on in the season. They said right out the gate, they usually use that week 1 game to try to promote an up-and-coming team. Last year was the Lions, who ended up going to the NFC Championship game. This year, a lot of people are saying you might have some CJ Stroud versus Patrick Mahomes week 1, which would be really fun. But yeah, it's an up-and-coming team they want to showcase out there for week 1.
Man, I love CJ Stroud. I was just thinking about that today, to be honest with you. I seen how he went back at Parsons. Did you see that where him and Parsons were talking and Parsons was like, man, he ain't never seen a killer. He said, man, you sitting on the couch next to one. I said, oh, I love CJ Stroud. Without blinking an eye, didn't bat, and Joker didn't fumble his words. He was immediately right back.
Mm-hmm.
So he's excited to go play, man. I love to play this Houston team, man. He's a baller. I like CJ Stroud a lot, man. I like him a whole lot.
He's ready for the moment for sure.
Yeah, he is, man. He is. So I love it. I love it, man. He wears his faith on his sleeve. He's not afraid to be who he is. I think he's the guy that we needed. Seeing him always gives me hope for the future of the NFL. God, when you see guys come in like that, you're like, man, this place is in a great place. The NFL is in a great spot just to grow, to get better, and get more, fans and all those different things to expand even more, man. I love the base of it. But he's a guy, man, that gives back to the NFL just for who he is.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, the pipeline of great quarterback play, man, we're set for years to come.
Oh, I mean, no doubt.
These young guys, man, I know there was the questions after Brady, Rodgers, and Manning. It's like, who's going to be the next guys? And like, the pipeline is set, man. And every year, I mean, they got Caleb Williams who's supposed to be the next one. We don't know if that's going to be the case, but I mean, he's supposed to be. And then you have Stroud, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar, even Kyler Murray. I know Kyler Murray doesn't get his due, but Kyler Murray, man, he's so fun to watch. He might be one of those quarterbacks like a Dan Marino type where he was so fun during that time, just never won anything. Man, I think that's what's going to be for him, I think.
Yeah, and these new guys that just got drafted too, right? We'll see what they're going to do. But, Blake May, JJ, we're going to see. We're going to see what they have, right? So I'm excited, man, for football. I really am. Yeah. So
if you get Houston, KC week 1, woo, I mean, a lot of fireworks in that one, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I like it. So much talent. They're going to be a dogfight at training camp. It is. You know what? I know before we get into the Rashee Rice thing, there's going to be a dogfight for a lot of positions. One is going to be left tackle, okay? Because I still think that's going to be like, hey, let the guy who's going to win it out, let him show up and win it out. Still going to be some fight at defensive end. You're going to see some at corner. You're going to see some at running back, behind Pacheco, who's gonna politic getting themselves up there. Wide receiver. There's going to be some great battles. And so it's going to be exciting for training camp, man. I think these guys are going to sharpen each other up just with the competition. And so nobody wants to be lagging. Everybody wants to be that guy starting on day one. Everybody's going to be wanting that. So it'll be good. It'll be good for us.
Yeah. I mean, we're so deep at so many positions. I mean, yeah. That's the thing too, and we still may be signing some vets. I mean, you never know. Donovan Smith could be coming back, and then you may even see if Kingsley's that good, he'll even beat out Donovan. But we'll see if that even happens, because it sounds like they're big fans of Kingsley. So
yeah.
Hi everybody, thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.